Hello everyone, my name is Katie and welcome to my Greenland Quilter channel. I hope everyone is having a good weekend so far. Let me know what you've been working on. I'd like to know. Um, I'm going to talk to you about a couple things at the beginning, hopefully when people start coming in. At least that's my hopes. I hope everyone is having. Okay, so what I'm going to do, there's a couple things I want to talk about, and I need to have a couple screens ready for you guys so that we can go and have a look at it. Lori was the first one in the chat today. Welcome, welcome. And Andrea says she's going to bed, so have a good sleep. Okay, let me see if oh, here we go. We got this part done. Now I got to do is find the Facebook one, and then we can talk about that also. So what's everybody's weather like today? It's warm today. The sun is shining really bright. Our house is a bit warm because of the sun and how warm it is outside, but fall is definitely in the air. We saw frost on the ground a couple of days ago. So Mother Nature is getting ready to start down, what do you call it? Going to sleep, more or less. So yeah, let me know what you've been working on. I'd like to know. And I'm just waiting for people to come in so we can have, I can talk to you and then we can get to sewing. At least that's my hopes. Okay. Yeah, this is what I was looking for right here. Okay. Now I got both those ready. So all I have to do is share the screen when we start talking about this, and then I won't have to go look for it. Okay, so right now we have 2 people in the chat, looks like. I don't know if Lori's still there or not. Nikolai, are you in the chat?
Huh?
Are you in the chat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't know if you could see how many people in there or not. Because it doesn't look like anyone's here.
Right now, 8.
Okay. All right. Ah, there's Andy. Hi, Andy. Welcome, welcome. It's good to see you. I'm I'm sorry I've been kind of absent from your lives for the last few days. I've been running your lives in the background except for last night, and then today I ran your live while I was working in here in the sewing room. I watched your live today from last night so that you could get watch hours. So, how's everybody's weekend going? And look at here, Andrea says the weather is conditions are sunny with 90. Wow, it's still hot her way. The wind is blowing from the southeast at 11 miles an hour, and the current humidity is 48%. Let's see what the weather person says about where we're at. Oops, as long as I spell it right anyway. It's okay. I've been off randomly by TY. What? It's okay. I've been off randomly, but thank you. You're welcome. Anytime. Hey, Donnelly, what's going on? Hey, Katie, what's up? How's you today? I'm doing fine. Still having, you know, body issues, but outside of that, I'm fine. Hello, Felicia. I've just been waiting a little bit, and I have this. I don't know if you can see this glare up here on me or not.
You're good.
There's see it, honey, right there.
You're good.
Okay.
A little glare.
Yeah, it's like on the edge of my glass right there. Glasses. It's weird. It looks like.
Top camera, from the top camera.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, it's from here. Is that what I'm seeing?
That's all.
Oh, okay. Okay. While we're waiting on people to come in, how many of y'all saw my post today on the community page or on my Facebook page? Because okay, babe. Thanks. Yesterday, anything about it last night because I didn't know what to say. I was normally you're like, I never am a loss for words, but yesterday I was at a loss for words about what to say about it. When we woke up yesterday morning, the channel had hit 5,000. And when we looked, Nicholas looking at me and I'm looking at him, I'm like, that can't be right. And we are still really, really shocked because now it's at 5,100. And so I decided to post about it today on the community tab, and also on my Facebook group and on Instagram. I posted on all three of them. I want to say thank you to all of you because I didn't think I'd see this happen. Number one. Number two, this has been a community. I don't want to say project. It's like a community endeavor because yes, I do a lot of the hard part of it, but all of you that come and watch my lives, y'all comment on videos and on lives, you engage in the chat. There's all kinds of things that you guys do that you don't realize contributes to making the channel's foundation stronger, which is what I've been working so hard to do, is to make the foundation of the channel stronger. And I wanted to get to 5. I've said I wanted to get to 5, but I don't want to think beyond that right now because it scares the crap out of me. I don't know why. Because I think part of it, the reason I'm scared is because this is the first time I think in my whole life where I feel like I've accomplished something, and I didn't expect this to happen. And yeah, I got little, sorry, can't help it. But anyway, I want to thank all of y'all for that. I want to thank my paid members. I want to thank my channel moderators. I want to thank Sean because Sean has been a big figure in this whole grander scheme of things by being there as my mentor. And whenever I got stuck on something, I would, I could contact him and he had an answer. And if he didn't have an answer, we sat down and we tried to figure it out. And he's done all of this to help me. There's been so many people that's helped, but all of y'all as a community has helped this happen. I couldn't have done this all by myself. So I just want to say thank you. And I am going to Donnelly says 5,000 leads into 10 and then 12. I know, and that's what scares me. I mean, I know I've been busting my butt this year, with the projects and trying to keep lives going. Had a couple times where I've had to take off because I just needed to take a break. I was experiencing a little bit of burnout and recently a little bit of health issues going on, nothing bad, just enough to hinder me a little bit. And I just, all I can say is thank you. I don't know any other way to tell you how much I appreciate every one of you, because it was because of you that this has happened. And I want all of you to pat yourself on the back because it wouldn't have happened without you. Let me say hey to everybody in the chat and read what everybody's saying. Lori was the first one in the chat today, and Andrea says she's going to take a nap because she's not been. I saw earlier she was on I don't remember who's live because I watched several lives earlier today, and she mentioned that she hadn't been sleeping at night. She's been sleeping through the day. Boy, do I! I could connect with that one big time, so I understand. We got Andy from Crafty Witch. She's here. Thank you. And she's also one of our moderators. And there's been a few times that my moderators have hopped to taking care of pain in the butt kind of people, and they've done it with such grace. In fact, you know what? I wanted to mention this. When I first started the channel and we would have these trolls come in, it would just you saw what would happen. I would freak out about it, because I wanted to hurry up and get rid of them. But Sean said something to me that made total sense. He says, you don't engage this person, don't say anything about him. or her, whoever it is that's doing it, and also try to get your followers not to say anything. Just totally act like he doesn't exist and let the moderators handle it. And that's what we've been doing, all of us. And the moderators have been just right on top of booting this person out. And, that's what's so great about moderators. A lot of times when you're sewing or you're talking about a subject or something like that, you don't always see what's happening in the chat because you're looking it. And all of you who are creators will understand is we have a monitor in our face, we have the camera in our face, we have the chat, we have all these moving parts going on. Plus, we're doing something at the same time. I'm not doing something at this moment, but you see what I'm getting at. And, that's what helps this channel keep on moving so that people don't end up leaving because of bad actors. And I appreciate all of y'all for sticking with me when that's gone up. And Donnelly's here. Hello, hello. Felicia's here. Hello, hello. Let me see here. Donnelly says, hey, it's Crafty Witch. She will make you crazy crafty laugh out loud. She's good. Yes, she will. And I love her big time. And Andrea says, howdy, Andy, and everyone coming in. I'm heading to bed. I did. Katie, way to go. Thank you. Andy says, congrats. Donnelly says, congrats. Our channel. And then she told me her channel hit 74. Does that scare you when you get up to that high number, Donnelly? I'm curious. I'm sure you've been thinking about that 100,000 mark. Maybe you haven't. What's your thoughts on that? Just out of curiosity, when I try not to think about it, because every time I do, it just scares me. Just scares me. Felicia says, congratulations. Sorry for the stuffed up. It's because I got tears in my eyeballs. Then Donnelly says 5,000 leads into 10 and then to 12 and on up. Yep. Kim says hello to me. Hi, Kim, back. And then Donnelly says, Katie, keep doing you. Obviously, it's working. Yeah, I'm not going to hide nothing from y'all. And then Andrea says, I remember when you came back from QuiltCon and was so worried because your watch hours were down. You have come a long way, babe. I have. And you're right. I was totally worried about my watch hours because it's, when you don't make videos, what do you expect, right? And I think I only went live once while the whole time I was gone. I just couldn't. The hotel internet, if you're too far away from the router, you couldn't, keep a good connection. And so I thought it was halfway not worth the time, although I missed everybody like crazy. Donnelly says, we always tell our trolls, thanks for the viewer count. Hit the likes on your way out. Laugh out loud. That's right. Hi, Nanita. Welcome. And Donnelly says, it's hard to personalize viewers, but we interact always, do polls, give away. Yeah, exactly. So here's the plan. On October, I have a list of things I want to talk to y'all about. On October the 4th, I am going to it's on my normal Saturday live, and but I'm going to do a giveaway, and I'm going to give away 6 $25 gift cards. Okay, so here's the rules. The rules are you have to be subscribed. And the second rule is I will be posting a Google form, and I'm going to explain why I do it this way. And the form will be asking you for your name, your channel name, your email address, and then there'll be a portion down, and here's the choices you'll have, because we do have, and if those of you who don't sew that are part of this community, I put Amazon and Walmart, but if there's, some of you are crocheters, some of you are crafters. If there's another company that does gift cards, let me know and I'll add that to the list. And so there'll be the choices will be Amazon, Walmart, Fat Quarter Shop, Missouri Star, Quilt Company, and Cotton Cuts. But if you're a crafter and you have another company you like to buy from, let me know on that and I'll add that to the list. And you can only choose one. And then should you be the winner, then all I have to do is go to that website, buy the gift card, put your email address on it, and it'll go to you. But you have to do the Google form, because I have learned sending emails to people. People don't answer their emails, and it's a pet peeve with me. I don't like people ignoring my emails. So by doing a form, which will be easy for you to download because I'll post the link. I'll be putting it in the bot. I'll put it over on my community page and on my Facebook page where you can find it very easily. And then you just fill it out and it'll automatically let me know you did it. And then when we have the drawing on October the 4th, when I draw 6 people's names, then you'll know. It would be nice if you came and came to the live that night. If you're going, if you fill out the form, it would be great if you came, but I'm not going to penalize you because sometimes things come up, and that's okay. I just need the info. If I don't have the proper info, then I can't give you the card. The only reason I'm not doing mail stuff right now is because, oh my God, it's been an epic fail with that right now. We lost our post office along with some smaller towns besides ourselves. We're getting mail very slow right now. I mean, it's slower than it's been being. And on top of that, nobody seems to know how we can send mail out. So the only alternative that I can come up with is every time Nikolai comes home, if I want to mail something to the United States, he's going to have to take it back with him to Nuke or Sissy and mail it out from there. But we haven't talked about that yet because I'm still trying to figure this situation out. So for now, we'll just do gift cards. And it's my way of saying thank you for being here for me. I can't buy 5,000 gift cards. I am not rich, but at least I can give back to someone. Let me see. Laura says, hi, Katie and everyone. Congratulations on getting to 5K. Thank you. And let me see. Okay, so now that I've talked about that, and I will be talking about this giveaway for the next several lives. And on the next live, which will be Sunday. Wait, that's tomorrow. I'll wait till Thursday of the 18th and I'll let you know I will have the form done and I'll start posting it. But on Thursday the 18th, I'll remind you about the form in case you hadn't already seen it on the community tab or on the Facebook group. And make sure you get it done. And if you're not subscribed, you have to be subscribed because I am gonna go look. Okay, because that's only fair because the subscribers are the ones that's giving me all this extra, time of watching and talking and chatting and commenting on my post. Y'all rock. When I post on my community tab, you guys actually answer a lot of what I post. And you may not realize this, but that contributes to how our channel grows. We get credit for that too. That counts as part of it. So, okay, now let me tell you what the plan is. Tonight, I'm going to continue on working on my granddaughter's quilt tonight. That's the plan for tonight. I also want to discuss about the 1,000 block poll. Those of you who are sewing the block is more important. Well, actually, I want all of y'all to participate in these polls. I put a poll up on my Facebook group, and I'm going to show it to you in a minute. There's one on my Facebook group, and there's one on my community tab. You only need to vote on either the community tab or on the Facebook group, whichever is easiest for you. Now, with the Facebook group, you're going to have to make a comment and say, I vote for block number so-and-so, because there's not a way to set up an image poll in Facebook, which is very strange because you could do it on YouTube. So let's go talk. Let me share the screen and let's go talk about both those so you can have a look at what's going on so you'll know what it looks like, especially for those who don't. And all you have to do is vote on the one that you like the best, and that'll be block number 17 we'll start out with. One of the blocks will be a mixed technique, meaning it's going to be piecing and paper piecing, foundation paper piecing. That's what will be in it. And we had talked a lot about this over the last month, and everybody's like, yeah, let's add one of those, and I'll be able to give you a link where you can download the paper piecing part of it to make the block, just like that. Thank you, Laura. Well, y'all have been generous with your time and some have donated to I'm trying to save up for some more hardware, and y'all donated to that, and it hasn't met the goal yet, but I'm thinking probably I'm hoping the goal will be met sometime in either January or February, because I'm about a certain dollar amount away from it now, and I feel blessed by all of y'all. And Laura says, I always enjoy your lives. Thank you. Okay, so let me go pull up the first. I'm going to go to Facebook first. Yeah, 3 months, Andy, isn't that great? All right, let me pull the screen up and go to Facebook, and then I'm going to share the screen. And then I'll have to unshare and then pull up the other one, because I'm on two different browsers. I'm on my Avest for my YouTube, and I use Google Chrome for my personal stuff along with the Facebook group. So that's why I can't just slide from one to the next, I don't think. Maybe, I don't know, but I don't think so, because every time I've tried, people say they can't see it. Okay, let me know. Actually, I can see it on here, so I might be able to. Let me know when you see what I see. Babe, that's he can't hear me. All right, let me see if I can put the chat. Give me a heart that you can see it. I'll pull the chat over the top of it. Maybe. Nope, wrong screen. Okay. Let me know when you can see what I'm seeing. You're probably going to see the chat screen too, because I'm sitting here looking at the chat screen at the same time I'm looking at the browser. Babe. Nanita says she can see it. Okay. All right. So this is on the Greenland Quilter Facebook group. And I put up a poll. And the poll is for the next 4 blocks, which would be blocks 17, 18, 19, and 20. And they're called the focal point, clowns go around, late bloomer, and focal point. And I'll show you which ones are what. So block number 1 is focal point. That's this one on the left. Block 2 is clown go round. This is the mixed media one. The corners here are paper piecing. The rest of it is regular piecing. Block number 3 is called late bloomer. And block number 4 is called focal point. Uh-oh, there's an error here. This is wrong. Hang on. That is not. I'll get back to you on which one that is. Okay. I just saw that. All right. So down below, because we can't make it like we do over on YouTube, I asked everybody, if you're voting over here on the Facebook part, to put the number that you voted on, and if you want to say why you chose that one, you can. So right now we have one person who's voted for number 1, and we have 3 people who's voted for number 3, which is called late bloomer, which is this one right here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is close this. No, actually, I'll go back to this first, I think. Or not. Yeah, I have to stop sharing to go to the other place. Okay, I've stopped sharing. Now let me go to the other browser, and I'll show you what it looks like over on the community tab. Oh, thank you, Laura, so much. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Okay, now let me show you on the YouTube channel post. Whew, y'all are making my day today. Okay, now over here, the poll makes more sense to everybody. So let me hit share again. And click on that, and then click share. And then I'll give you a couple minutes so you can see it. And I'll have the chat up where I can see what you're saying. Give me a heart when you start to see the screen. There's always this little bit of delay between me and YouTube. Crafty Witch says, oh my gosh. Thank you, Andy. I really appreciate that. Hey, Deb, Till, how are you? Hey, Catherine, welcome, welcome. Hello, Melena. Let me see who else came in here that I didn't see come in here. Hi, Denise, welcome, welcome. Okay, we got hearts up. Let's talk about this. Okay, this is on the Greenland Quilter Community tab, so it's really easy to find, but you'll have to scroll down a little bit. And I put, it's time again for this. I got focal point twice on here too. I will fix that. Okay, so here's where we at. The block number 1, which I have focal point, 33% have voted on that one. Clown Go Around is 6%. Late Bloomer is 33%, and the last block, Tile Works, there it is. Tile Works is 28%. So how I do this so that the math comes out right is I base the amount of votes on my Facebook group, because here it tells you how many people voted, and it's very easy to get the percentage because it gives it to you. So what I've been doing for the Facebook part is based on the amount of people who vote, based on the on what one they voted on. I'm able to determine the percentage by doing the math, and then I add that percentage to this percentage, and then you have an overall percentage of what percentage voted on what block, and based on the number. So like an example is we have a tie between Focal Point right now and Late Bloomer over here. Now on the Facebook group, 3 people voted for Late Bloomer over there. So 3, you would divide that and you would get a percentage. So it's possible when we have a tie that we'll have to break the tie. But if the tie is broken, then the one that has the highest percentage will get sewn first, and then we'll just go based on the numbers. So currently it would either be Focal Point or Late Bloomers as block 17, and then the other one would be block number 18, and Tile Works would be block number 19, and Clown Go Around with the mix technique would be block number 20. But now that could change. So I need you guys voting, because I'm going to pull the vote or stop the voting on September 17th. And then on the 18th, when I have my Thursday live, we will have a discussion, and I will tell you what block we're going to be sewing for the 1,000 block. And then those of you who are sewing with me, because you have the book, then you have the ability to go ahead and start working on that block as well. So make sure you go vote, because your voice is welcome on this, and I would love it to hear from you. And yeah, let's do this, because it's going to be fun. This, when I look at this over here on the wall or on my blinds, I am so inspired right now, because I've taken scraps to make all these colorful blocks. And I know this is outside of most people's wheelhouse, but I think it's a wonderful experience for people to see what you can do, even though you may never make something where you mix this many colors into it, but you get to see it yourself and say, oh, and you may even realize you love it, but and you have the chance to experience it along with me as I'm doing it. And I think that's what's making this special, is because we're doing this together. Summer sewing, and this is also helping to improve my sewing skill set, which is great. Okay, now the next thing we're going to talk about, Sunday, I'm doing tomorrow. I have a live tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with Sean. The link and everything will go up tonight after the live. We'll be working on Star Climber, which is this. Sean has come up with a different way of doing his Star Climber. Instead of making a quilt, he's going to share with you what he's doing with his stars. So y'all are going to love it, because I've already seen one of them, and oh my God, I would not have thought to do that with it. So you're going to see a different take of how he used the Star Climber squares. All right. Thank you, Laura. Yes, right. Y'all don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. All right. The next thing we want to talk about is I'm also being interviewed by Andy of True Blue Quilts tomorrow afternoon, and the the interview, I don't know if she's going to do it as a premiere or if it's a pre-record. I think she's doing a pre-record, and she'll let everybody know when she's going to put it up. So I'm doing that tomorrow afternoon. And then on September the 16th, we're going to have our next once a month crochet live. And so far, Andy of Crafty Witch and Shonda from Under the Needle will be, which I think she just changed the name of her channel, which I need to find out what the name of it is. She is going to be joining to crochet. So if there's any of you in there who do the same thing that Andy's doing, and yours, you don't have to be a creator actually. If you just want to come on the live with us, if you're not afraid of being in front of the camera and want to crochet, please let me know, and I will post my email here, so that you can email and say, hey, can I join you on September 16th? You're more than welcome to. Any of you are. As soon as my laptop catches up with me anyway. There we go. All right. I think that, or did I put, wait. That's it. Yep, there it is. There's the email. So if you're a crocheter and you're interested in joining me on the live on the 16th, we will be crocheting at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. So we got that coming up on the 16th. On the 18th, besides announcing the 1000 block number 17, we are going to work on the channel so long, which now has a name. It's called Katie's Creative Chaos. That's the name of the quilt. That's this right here. We got it named. So now it has a name. So we'll be doing that. And then I don't know what I'm going on Friday the 19th, we're going to do block number 17 of the 1000 block. And then on Saturday, it's jelly roll time, because Saturday is September the 20th, which is jelly roll day. So we are going to be sewing jelly rolls. Me and Teresa Louise of Teresa Louise I Quilt 2 will be doing a potato chip pattern. Nikolai is going to use the Kansas Troubles jelly roll that I didn't realize I had it. When I found it, I'm like, oh, here's another one. He likes it, the color. So he is going to do another jelly roll challenge, and he's probably going to do a rail fence with it. So Laura says, I am an avid crocheter. I've been crocheting for 56 years. Do you want to join us on the live, Laura? Because you're welcome to. All we do is sit and crochet and talk. Let me know. Email me, okay? And I will get back to you and make sure you get a link if you want to join on the YouTube channel. You'll have to go through Zoom. We use Zoom to go to YouTube. The thing you see me on, that's YouTube. So if you're interested, let me know, and I'll send you all the pertinent information so you can join us. That's cool. All right.
Anyone can join in. Doesn't have to be.
Yeah, you don't have to be a channel creator. Yeah, exactly. Okay, and then on Sunday, the 21st, is my once a month with Danny and Myra for Peace of Mind mending pieces. I wanted to bring this up a little bit to you guys, and I'll make another post on the community tab and on the Facebook. Some of you have been coming. We've had a lot of positive feedback for this once a month mental health live. It's gone really well. It's gone better than I thought it would. I thought maybe people would get irritated and walk out, but the things we've been talking about have nothing to do. There really hasn't been a lot of discussion on how people became the way they are, but there has been discussion on how to get help and different things. It's up to you, Laura. If you want to sit and chat without the camera, you can also do that. Some people will come onto a Zoom and just turn the camera off. So you have that option to turn the camera off if you don't want to be on it. Think about it and see if you want to just talk, where you just have the mic going and not the camera. It's up to you. I'm not going to like pressure you or anything. So here's my question, because I know some of you have been coming. I want you to think about this. I want you to think about if you have a subject that you would like to have discussed for the next mental health live. You can email me at Living Greenland again, and I'll put the link up again, PQ. Or you can post it underneath the comment section when I do make the post of what you would like to see us discuss. Because we've been covering different topics as we go along. Yeah, I could crochet, but I could write my name. It's or you can't write your name. Is that what you meant? And she says, I'll let you know. I'm not sure if I want to be on camera. You don't have to be on. Like I said, you can actually turn the camera off and just your voice be seen. There's a couple people that do that on other channels where you can hear them, but you just can't see them. And that is okay. I'm not, I must have put in the wrong thing one of these days. I'm going to get this bot fixed. All right. So think about that. What topic would you like to see us talk about that we haven't already talked about? And there's no pressure on that either. And the only other thing I wanted to mention is this is a did you know thing. Did you know that there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 companies that Batiks come from? Hi, Mary G. She says she voted for number 3 on Facebook. Thank you, Mary. So how many of you would like to know who all the companies are that produce Batiks so that we can have fun with them? And I know some of you are not Batikers, but you also know that I have been a mad woman with Batiks over the last several months. So here's the list of them. And some of them actually tell, a couple of them actually tell where they're located. We have Fanda Fabrics, which comes from Quindo, China. Hoffman, California Fabrics. Robert Kaufman Artisan Batiks. Timeless Treasures Tonga Batiks. Batik Textiles for Bali. Island Batiks. So Batik. Afadan Batik. And Batik Tamkol. And the Batik Tamkol is from a specific Asian country, but I can't remember which one. And some of these actually have websites that you can go and learn all about all these batik companies that make batik fabric that so many of us love. But I thought you would find that interesting because my batiks that I've been using a lot of, especially out of my scrap box, some of it's from Hoffman, some's from Robert Kaufman, some's from Tonga and Bali and Island Batiks. And then there's 2 or 3 batiks that I have no idea what company produced them. So I went and looked online to see what list there was. So it's possible that all of these things you've been seeing me make from batiks have come maybe even from all 9 of these companies. So I thought you would find that interesting, maybe. Okay, that's everything I wanted to talk about, I think. For those that just came in, make sure you rewatch the beginning. And like I said, I will remind you from here on out every live about making sure you get that Google form. As soon as I get your Google form up, you need to go fill it out if you want to participate in the giveaway, which will be scheduled for October the 4th. And the only rule really is fill the form out and be a subscriber. And I can look you up to find that out. We can actually see all of our subscribers inside our studio, believe it or not. We can also see top chatters too. All right, now you're probably like, what you working on? We're going to sew on some more of my dragon fruit because I really want to get caught up. I'm behind. What's everybody been working on this weekend? And has anyone had anything interesting going on this weekend? And if you have, what you want to share something about it? Tell me what you've been doing. And again, thank you for all of y'all's support on getting my channel to where it is. I'm still I'm still in denial phase. Like, no, there's not 5,000 people on here. I know, I'm insane. All right. If anyone wants to join me on the live tonight, let me know and I'll hook you up. Okay. Let's get sewing here now that I've run my mouth for How long have I been talking? Oh, almost 40 minutes. Just crocheting a big octopus. You and I really need to do that llama, Andy. Maybe after the first of the year, you and I can. Would you be interested? Maybe after the first of the year, you and I doing that, because it is a freebie pattern. Laura says the fabric patch is in Washington State. They have traveled to Indonesia and have a video of the process of making batiks. Oh, do they have it on their website where I can go and look at it? Mary says, we just got back from watching our granddaughter's soccer game. Laura says, it's really interesting. And Andy says, deal, yes. And I guess I should think about making one of your little critters too. But you're going to have to walk me through it because I've never made one like that. It'll be fun. Okay, let me see. What can we talk about next? So I guess y'all saw my new word up there for the poll. The poll is, what does incunable mean? And I know I butchered that pretty bad. And the options were large animal, a type of rock, early printed book, or type of tree. So if you haven't done the poll, don't go look it up. Take a guess. It's just fun. Let's see what you can remember from school. You know, one of my favorite things from school was I loved doing vocabulary words. I think I loved it as much as I liked reading until I got into high school. When we started doing the what is that reading that you do in high school? It's called, it's got a name for it, but you study oh my gosh, I can't think of his name at the moment. But you got Edgar Allan Poe, and then you got the really prolific writer that did Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet. But they also introduced things that was so boring I couldn't read them. But vocabulary words that would light me up. I'm like, oh yeah, let's go look them all up. And I could, a lot of times I can see words I've never seen before and go and look before I look it up, take a guess. And a lot of times I'm right on what I think it means. And maybe I've heard it in passing when someone's used it. The one word that I think is the coolest word on the planet is discombobulated. Do y'all remember when that word was used a lot? It was used on TV. It was used in a TV series. It was hilarious. I'm like, oh, that's a really cool word. Hi, Rita. How are you doing today? Are you feeling good? I hope you are. All right, I need to be seeing what this looks like. All right, so that's now we're going to put on the green. Time for the green. Probably gonna have to cut another piece of green. No, I got plenty over here. Yep, here's one. So anyway, don't forget to do the poll. Doing okay. Trying not to melt. So it's still pretty hot in Arizona. Rita. Hey, you want to come on the live? Are you still not feeling it? We need some of your joking around. I missed that sarcasm of yours. Sometimes I don't get it. And then when I do get it, it's like ding, ding, ding. The thing that Becca and Ian were talking about buying a chicken and an egg from Amazon, I still don't get what it is supposedly supposed to mean. This was on the live last night. It's supposed to be some kind of joke or something, but I don't understand what the joke is about. Ian told me to think about it for a while, and I have thought about it, and I still don't get it. Rita says, "Me joke? No way. I do not do that. Ha ha ha. Oh, yes, you do." She says it's 112 degrees. Oh my God. So fall is nowhere near coming yet. Yeah, but that wasn't a question. There was something about buying a chicken and an egg from Amazon. If he'd have said what came first, I would have got that. But they mentioned Amazon, and I'm like, what's Amazon got to do with chickens and eggs? Other than, yeah, you probably could buy both. Oh my gosh, that moved. Laura says it's 101 where she's at. Holy cow. So fall is nowhere near your way yet. I'm sorry, you guys. I hope it cools off soon. It's definitely changing here. Some of the grass has already turned in a different color. Um, but the last 2 days, the weather has been exceptional. It's been so beautiful. Hey, Lori Clark, welcome, welcome. I have 2 more of these to make, and then I can move on to the next part. And I think the next part's gonna not take as long because definitely these smaller blocks take a little more time because I don't want to make any more mistakes because yeah, would rather not. Lori Clark. Oh, she already said popping in to say hi. Yep. I hope you stay a while. I know you already said hi, and I said hi. Sorry. So anyway, what do y'all think about this hitting the 5,000 mark? Are y'all as shocked as I am about it? What?
How's your drink?
Probably could use some more. Lori says it's been a while, busy lady. And Laura says, Katie, 101 isn't as bad as it sounds. We don't have the humidity that usually goes with the higher. Yeah, that's true. Because if I had we've had 100-degree temperatures in Florida, and I thought it was so hot that when you walked out the door, I couldn't breathe. And then Denise says, I'm on your YouTube Greenland Quilter. I can't find the poll for the block. I like number 3. Okay, if you take and scroll down a bit, you'll find it. And if not, wait till after the live and I don't know how to move it up. I would have to repost it. Let me write it down that you said you want it or you're voting for number 3. Let me write that down. And then I can add it to the percentage.
Oh, it's
Let's see, Laura Sub says number 3. Okay, I wrote it down. Katie, I am super excited for you. I remember when you were trying to hit that 1K mark. I know, right? Who'd have thunk it? You know, when I hit that 1,000, it was because Becca had made a comment in her, I guess, well, tell you a little bit. Let's go back to that time period. I remember that I started my channel in July of 2023. Yeah, because I'm 2 years old now. And so I had July, August, and September, and I was sitting around 600, I think, which is surprising to only be. Um, I I had, was doing lives, and I would go and sit in Becca's channel, but that first Friday that she said something, I wasn't in there. And but she had said something. She says, and what started the whole thing is we were doing, because I'm a member of her channel. She was doing the weekend retreat where you had the whole weekend. And someone asked me um why I haven't done a legit kit. And I made the comment, and she was there. She heard the conversation going on, but she wasn't saying anything. And I said, well, I can't afford one because they're very pricey. And move, Nora. And all of a sudden she chimes in and she says, this is where the challenge started. She chimes in and she says, I tell you what, if you can make it to 1,000 by Christmas Eve, I will buy you a legit kit, the one you want. And I'm like, no way. There's no way I'll get to 1,000 by then. But what I didn't know is after we had that discussion of the challenge, suddenly, like for 2 weeks straight, uh, the numbers were going up. And I didn't understand why they were going up, because I would mention to you guys, share my channel, hit the like button, all the things we all do. And then someone came in one night in the live and says, did you know that Becca's been talking about your channel and you? I'm like, no. Well, she has. And she's made a challenge to all of us to come over here and like and subscribe your channel. I'm like, she did? So about 2 weeks before Christmas, and some of you remember this, I hit 1,000. I couldn't believe my eyes.
We did some big gift.
Yeah, we did. We gave her a polar bear picture, a big one. It wasn't a picture, it was paint. It looked like a painting.
Canvas.
It was on canvas. Rita says hot temps at least another month, might drop to 100 in the. It waits that long to drop? Really? Do you even have winter time there? Please, I don't know because I've never lived in Arizona. So if I sound naive, you know why. I really don't know much about Arizona other than there's a desert there. And hello, Savannah. Welcome, welcome. Sorry I missed you coming in. Remember, Katie, Southern Arizona has only 2 seasons, hot and cool, no fall. Oh, got you. No spring or fall. So it just basically skips it like Florida does. Well, Florida doesn't skip spring, but you know what I mean. It doesn't have all this big differential things going on. Got to make sure I don't trim on the wrong line here. I'm going to move this out of the way. I remember, Katie, you were so excited and you sent. Yes, we did. And she sent the polar bear kit. She sure did. You remember she asked me, she says, didn't you say you were coming to the United States? I said, yes. And I had planned, and I was going to QuiltCon for the first time. And she says, well, how about I sit on it at my house, and when you come, I'll bring it to QuiltCon and give it to you. And she did. She brought it to QuiltCon and gave it to me. And I came back home with it. I haven't started it yet, of course, but and when I do it, it's going to be for Nikolai. But he gifted Becca and our friend Myra, who you hear me calling Sissy. They both got gifted with a big polar bear picture that he took a photograph. He photographed a polar bear in the water when he was at work, and we had it put on canvas. And so they were gifted to both of them. And it's very strange. Oh, it's the top of my arm. Laura says, I've been following your journey for quite a while now. I am loving every minute of it. Thank you. Y'all are the best. You come every time I have a live for, and you don't get mad when I cancel a live, which makes me feel good because a lot of times I worry about offending people because I up and canceled it the last minute. Y'all are just a good group of people. And look at Rita. She's been on my friends or paid membership now for 8 months. I looked at the member group or the membership the other day, and there's 3 people who's been a member of this channel for 13 months. I didn't even realize they'd been on there that long. 13 months. Do y'all got speaking of the y'all, hey Rita, do you like the little emojis? Or have you looked at them? I hope you did, because we have new emojis. Let me see if I can show y'all the emojis. The members can use these emojis, but I'm gonna show them to you, those that are not. And I'm not pressuring you to be a member. I just want to show you what Kevin from Tuber Chat made for the channel. So one's a whale. Well, this one's a narwhal, and then we have another whale, and then we have a polar bear, and then we have the Greenland flag. He made all of these. Plus, he also made, like with Rita, you notice she's got a whale tail that's blue color, and some have a different color whale tail. He made all the little whale tails too for the channel. Laura says, life happens. I always try to watch live, but try to catch replays if I miss a live. Yeah, y'all are watching my replays, and you're even commenting on them. Well, I just posted what they look like. Aren't the little whales are so cute? Even the polar bear is super cute. All right. We need, we might have to cut. Looks like I need to cut something. Because we need to make 2 more blocks. Yep, we need to cut a little more. I'm not going to have enough if I don't. Okay, and then I'll show you what's in the, and that one should go together a lot faster than it's going together with this, because there's lots of small moving parts with this one. But I'm actually enjoying doing it. Someone made a comment the other day, like, because I'm doing the 4-inch star climber one, and they're like, are you crazy? I'm like, no, but they're so small. That's what makes it so much fun, because it is small. I need white too. Oh, here it is. Okay. Laura, since you've been with me for the, I don't know how many of you have been with me since the beginning. And I know I have avoided things like doing a Bargello because I don't know if I can do it or not. Has there been anything that you think I should try at least once doing? I know what Rita's gonna say, do a Bargello, but I don't wanna. Laura says, I'd love to be a member, but haven't been able to sew since November. I'm hoping that now that I'm feeling better, I'll be able to be more involved. I'm just beginning to feel myself. Yeah, you take your time and take care of yourself. No worries here. I'm not going anywhere. And I don't want to pressure anyone into becoming a member. I'm still trying to figure out how I can show my appreciation for the paid members. The problem I'm seeing is I would love to do a private Zoom with everybody, but everybody's always doing Zooms on Saturday and Sunday. Where am I supposed to squeeze that in? We can just do a small wall hanging Bargello. Oh, okay. So do you have something in mind, Rita? Because if it's a small one, I would like to try doing a small one. I just don't want to do a big one and then mess the whole darn thing up. Because I'm very unsure about that. She says, yes, okay. We should get together and talk about that then, because we could put that in there. I've also been thinking about what I want to do for next year's sew along. I think I still want. Laura says, Katie, I think you should try anything you want to. This is true. You know what I really want to just get my toes, fingers wet into is I have 2 New York beauty books, and I know there's so many people doing them. It's either that or buy a Judy Niemeyer quilt pattern that uses tons of color, and it's most, I think most of this paper piece. Actually, I think they're just, her patterns are very, very pricey, and I've seen a couple that has actually caught my eye that I would be interested in doing it. So I'm debating on whether I want to do maybe next year's. I know I need to start the legit kit at some point. I'm a little bit chicken about it. And I could start that, next year as a and make it a year-long progression. But I was thinking about I would love to do a really colorful quilt top that do something that is different, that is a reflection of you. Yeah, that's where I was going with this. You've heard me say a zillion times how I want to use 100 colors or more. And if I can find the right pattern, like, because this mandala behind me is, a reflection of me. And I would like to do a quilt top like that, where it's full of color and it's totally different. Savannah says, I'm going to hop off on the way to a baseball game. Have a great night. Have a good fun with the baseball game. So, yeah. I have to do some thinking about that. I do know I want to do another channel sew along. And I think I'm definitely going to do one. Do I have a design in my head yet? Maybe, but maybe not. I don't know. I might find a free pattern that everyone can follow, where we can use what we have in our house, in our stash. Because I don't want anyone to have to go spend money. I want you to use from your stash on these sew alongs. And I still have so many daggum charm squares. It's insane. There is one do that. I would love to see that. Okay. I've seen, have you ever, there's even the Native American quilt tops that have the big stars where it's really colorful. I've even looked at them and thinking, golly, I wouldn't mind doing one of those. And then I could just use all batiks and just express myself with color. Because that would really show people, who I am. I mean, you're already seeing who I am, but I think you know what I mean. It's another way of showing a bit more creativity and just going with it, and don't worry about what anybody else thinks about it, Rita says she took a bunch of scraps and crumbs, then sewing them together to make fabric for the back of a quilt. I want to see, what I've been doing? I've been gathering it. I swear, I feel like my scraps have grown instead of shrinking, even though I've been working out of them. And so I've been back here cleaning up back here behind me, because me and Nikolai have already started the process of getting things prepped and ready for us to empty out the craft room and clean it and then reset the whole thing. And so I've been gathering up my scraps so I can get them into containers so they don't turn into chaos. And I'm going through there and I'm thinking, how do I have this many scraps when I've been sewing this many blocks out of scraps? I mean, I don't even know how that even happened, but I guess the more you cut, just the smaller pieces get cut from, you know, when you cut something and then you have the leftover from that piece of scrap and you're piling it up, it adds up after a while. But I will mention this. I do have sitting in the craft room right now, and I'll probably, when we start pulling the craft room completely apart, I'll probably bring some in here to show to you. I have um 3 different, either 3 or 4 kits that came from Fat Quarter Shop. 2 of them are from um the fundraiser that she does every year, and Make-A-Wish. And one of the 3, or one of the 2 kits, it's got everything included in the backing. I just haven't touched it. So that's something else that might be worth messing with next year or the year after, or even I think just doing 1 block a month from that next year would even get a lot of that kit done. Hi, Joe. Welcome, welcome. The Lone Star quilt block is one, or also called wagon wheel quilt block. Okay, I'll look into that. Scraps have babies when we're not looking. They just multiply. Yes, they do. I'm excited about Eric coming to sew with me on the 27th of this month, because I know what he and I are going to be doing. We are going to be sewing scraps. And so it'd probably be string scraps or something. I don't know. Or we might be doing improv. I wouldn't mind us doing some improv stuff, so I could, because like Rita was talking about taking and sewing all these little scraps together and using it as a backing. I think that's a really great idea. A really great idea. Because I've been watching well, I already watch her. I watch Tiffany a lot. And she made where she sewed fat quarters and turned the fat quarters into backing, and she put it on a bolt. And she's been using that bolt of fabric that she used from sewing things together as backing. And I think that's a really good idea, because you can, you know how all of us have fat quarters. You did the latest from Moda yet? No, not yet. I got to catch up. I'm a little behind. Did you do it, Rita? I need to go look at your video. I do know you did a video I got to go watch. Greetings from California, says Cindy. Hope everyone is doing well and making time to sew. Good self-care, right? Yep. Tomorrow I see the doctor. And let's hope we get some feedback on my other blood work they pulled. You know, yesterday when we were moving all my flower pots out of the house, I didn't realize I had so many clay pots. And I'm not talking little clay pots. I'm talking about big ones. And we got all of them moved into the boiler room in the basement yesterday. And all the plastic, everything's put away nice and neatly, and I don't have to worry about anything happening to them, because we need to make space to use the other half of the living room as a staging place. Plus, Nikolai's going to put the 2 long tables together, and he is going to build all of his trains and put the tracks together. And we're hoping he can do this before he goes back to work, so you guys can see his handiwork. Oh, speaking of which, I'll see if I can find the picture for it. Did y'all see that the Lego is going to have the vintage sewing machine? The designer of the vintage sewing machine actually made it through the process, and next year in 2026 they are going to introduce it to the public to buy. So it looks like a featherweight Singer sewing machine, and I am super excited about that coming out so that I can buy it, because I definitely will buy it so I can put it in the craft room after it's put together. Yeah, I can't make water fountains here. It would just, yeah. I could, but I don't want to waste water doing that. That's not number 9. That's number. Oops. Better fix that. All right, now we're ready to go. Okay. Clay pots. Have you made a fountain out of one, Rita? Or do you have one that you've made? I sure would like to see it if you have. I bet it would be interesting. Do you know that we have a fountain in Town Square that was built in 1932? So it's 2025 now, so that's 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. 7 years from now, it will be 100 years old. And I like when I'm doing the city tour and I take the tourists to see it, I'll ask if there's any engineers in the group, and there's always at least one engineer. And I'll ask the engineer, I said, how do you think the water is being pumped into the fountain? Out of the probably 20 something I've asked, only 2 gave the right answer. See that most of them assume it's a pump. But it's not. There's a water line that's up underneath the fountain. And sorry, I'm just trying to measure something at the same time I'm running my mouth. So there's a line that runs from the fountain and it's up underneath it, and then it runs underneath the town square asphalt part, and it runs to the river, and then it comes out off the side of it, and there's a valve on the side of it. And in the spring they turn the valve on, and then there's this water line that runs into the river, and the river goes up to the mouth of the lake. So this pipe runs all the way up the lake. And so because the water flows down from the lake, it feeds water into that water line, which pushes the water into the fountain. And so it's basically driven by gravity. And in the fall, as soon as we get our first hard freeze, they turn the valve off so that the water can't flow back in. She says yes, and many times the heat is hard on the clay pots. Yeah, that's why I don't leave clay pots outside during the winter months. I discovered it will crack them, because when you get all these, back-to-back hard freezes, or you get a hard freeze and then it rains, or it'll be snow, then rain, then hard freeze, it cracks the clay pot. So this is why we stored them in the basement in the boiler room, because the boiler room always stays warm. Both my outside ponds have a pump in them that just pumps water to grow beds and go back into the ponds. Yeah, this one's driven by the river and gravity. So it's pretty cool that they figured that out. It's not every day you see a fountain that doesn't have a pump on it. I'm trying to cut this down so it works right. In case you're wondering what I'm doing. So this little piece of fabric, isn't that cute? It's got a rainbow on it. Yeah. So what did everybody have for dinner today? Or are you in the process of making dinner now? Tell me what you've been doing, what you're making for food. Inquiring minds want to know. This is always the tedious part, just this first little sew part, because these the square that you're making, the 2 squares are so tiny. Make Philly steak cheese sandwiches. That sounds yummy. What all do you put on your Philly steak sandwiches, Rita? Anyone else? What have you been making for dinner? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, no. I sewed this on the wrong side. Oops. Sometimes this white teases my eyes. But this is an easy fix. I can rip this out and then resew it again without messing up the paper. Okay. And let's see if I can keep the one piece intact where it doesn't move and then just turn this other one over like it was supposed to be. And then it should be okay. Yeah, let's get it lined up and try not to move it. Hi, Luane. I need to get my butt over to your channel. How you doing? I hope everything's going good. Luane says, I am thinking of cooking pork chops, mashed potatoes, corn, and biscuit. That sounds tasty. How you been doing? Rita says, Luane, that sounds great. I just cannot eat pork. It gives her migraine. Steamed cream chicken and rice, says Lainey. Hey, Lainey. And Andy says that Jason made chicken. Did I miss anyone else that answered that question? Let's see. Rita said onions, garlic, peppers, mushrooms, and of course, thin sliced meat on a sourdough bun and added provolone and mozzarella. Oh my God, that sounds yummy. And then Laura says her husband is going to make burger bowls tonight. It's a burger with lots of veggies on top. That sounds tasty too. Jean says homemade chicken pesto pizza and corn on the cob for dinner. Yum. That sounds very tasty. Okay, I think I got everybody now. Denise, how's your day been? What's everybody been doing today? This week is going to get noisy because we're going to have F-16s buzzing us. I think on the 17th. I think that's what they 16th or 16th and 17th, I think, is when they plan to do the military stuff. They've already let all of the locals know what's going to happen. They've been doing maneuvers up in Nuke. It's going to be sweet. It's going to be so strange because, you know, other than the usual construction that's been going on here for the last 3 or 4 years now, for the rest of the time, it's usually really quiet. So having that kind of noise is going to be freaky for a little while, I think. especially for people who are not used to it. Lainey says, trying to get my computers up to date, add crocheting my hexagon afghan that goes in the window. Oh, cool. And then, hey, Geraldine, how are you? She says, I can't remember if it's Geraldine or Geraldine. Remind me, is it Geraldine or Geraldine? She returned from a college class and she thinks she's hooked. Oh boy, that's awesome. All right, let's turn this block so I can do it in this, show it in the way I created it. All right, so we got that. Now we got to add on number 3, which is white. Hmm. The yarn in the cloth is my therapy, so I have to keep it going. Yep. G sounds like a J. So Geraldine, gotcha. Just making sure. So I said it right the first time. Okay, let's get this trimmed. Trim this side. Denise says, I don't like to discuss in chat, but whenever someone mentions their struggles, I am very interested in hearing how they overcome the same or similar issues. Just want to know how doctors are handling IBS-C. Hey, you're welcome to ask those questions in my channel. I'm not going to get upset about it. Because sometimes talking to others gives you answers that you're seeking. Someone might have the right answer you're looking for. Okay, now we got this part done. Number 3, now we're going to do number 4. Oh, I need to turn this down. That's why it looks weird. Okay. Number 4 is going to be this green. Okay. Got to update all my computer stuff, which is very hard and expensive. I don't always have the money. Yeah, I hear you. We both need new laptops, and we all know how expensive that is. Lainey says, I believe I'm going live with the support group. Cool. And then she also says, learning straight up from YouTube videos, so I have to be watching as well. And I love live stream. Then Laura says, Denise, I have many IBS issues and have had several bowel obstructions. Feel free to DM her. I think I've been through it all. Yeah, y'all are free to talk about it. It's fine. I mean, one of y'all might share something that the other one didn't know about, and that's great. I found out that my nephew, my only nephew, actually, no, I have two nephews now that I think about it. Forgot about my brother. But my sister's son, my middle sister, Aaron has Crohn's disease. And as far as we know, Crohn's disease don't even run in our family, but digestion issues does. I have one niece and two nephews. That's all I have. My two sisters only had one kid apiece. So we went from being this big family to a small one. Hi, Mona. Welcome, welcome. She says she's been lurking. Okay, yeah. Let me get this on. This is coming along. And then we'll have one more of these to do, and then I can switch to the next set. The next set definitely will probably be a lot more better as far as how long it takes to get them done anyway. But we all know I'm not a fast sewer anyway, so that's okay. Felicia says she also has IBS. Wow. Do any of you all watch Good Simple Living? Any of you a follower of their channel? The reason I brought it up is because her, I don't know why his name sometimes escapes me, but anyway, it's a husband and wife with, now they have 5 kids because she just had a baby at 42 years old. So now they have 5 kids instead of 4. Anyway, her husband has been on a keto way of eating for the last year and a half, and he has slimmed down big time. He's still he looks healthy, and he works his behind off on the on their homestead, and he's very athletic and stuff, and they work out all the time and stuff like that. But today when I watched their today's Saturday. They always put out a new video on Saturdays. You can really tell he's lost a lot of weight. And he wasn't that big of a man to begin with. Him being on keto must really be paying off. I need to get my butt back on keto. I really want to get back on keto. Okay. Laura says she watches them. Yeah, I enjoy a lot of what they're doing. I just don't watch their podcast. I'm not interested in what they talk about. Are you chirping down there, little one? Nora's chirping.
I think I know why.
Probably need to feed her the rest of her, you know what.
Food.
Yep. I gave her one chicken wing, and then she had that top half of that chicken back and those pieces of the wing we cut off the chicken wings. So she probably, can you check the chicken legs, babe? They might be thawed out enough now. And just give her, I would just give her one for now and one egg. I don't think she needs to have two, because I gave her quite a bit of other stuff. And maybe she can have a quarter of an apple. Wayne says, I went from one brat niece to two awesome nieces and a cool nephew and three grandnephews and a grandniece when I found my older sister. Oh, that's so cool, Wayne. You would have had five if the one hadn't passed away 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Has it been 2 years now, or has it just been a year and a half?
Almost 2 years.
It'll be two in December. Yeah, because that we lost him on Christmas Eve.
This for her?
Yes. Yeah, and just give her a leg with that. Yep. He has Nikolai has a sister, and she had 6 kids or 5? Wait, 6, right? 5 boys, 1 girl? Or is it 4 boys, 1 girl?
4 boys, 1 girl, I think.
So she's got 3 boys now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she had 5 kids, and she had 4 boys and a girl. And now they have 3 boys and a girl. Denise says, hi, Nico.
Hi, Denise.
He says, hi back. These blocks are so cute.
One. Maybe consider one playing game.
I think they already know that. I think. In case you're wondering why he's not on the live, he's been over there gaming. I thought you were working on the Lego thing.
I'm no side of the program.
Oh, you're taking a break? Yeah. Which game are you playing?
Warcraft.
Warcraft? Oh, okay. Been a while since you played that one, isn't it?
Hmm?
It's been a while since you played that one, right? Uh, Luane says, I know it's 5 short months away, but is everybody ready? I am all booked up with hotel and take an Amtrak train there and back. Yep, for QuiltCon. I don't know if I'm going to get to go now because I don't have a house sitter to take care of Nora. And I don't know if that's going to resolve itself or not. And maybe I don't get to go anywhere. We planned on me going, but I haven't found a house, someone to take care of Nora. And I really need to go to the States because I need to renew my driver's license, get my stuff dealt with Social Security, update my passport. I have a long list of to-dos. And I called the Division of Driver's License in Florida to find out about whether I could just renew my driver's license over the internet. And guess what? That's a big fat no. And you know why? Because of the stupid new Florida law that says you must have a real ID. You mean for the passport?
Yeah, US
I don't know that, babe. I don't know anything about that, and I don't want them mailing my passport overseas.
You can ask them a question. That's right to ask.
I mean, I have no choice. At some point, I'm going to have to go home and do my passport, whether I want to or not. Because you can't go anywhere without a passport, much less be in another country without one. That would be a problem. Yeah, 2027. Yeah, I could probably, yeah, and I could stay with my son during that time frame. I wouldn't have to get a hotel because he's only about an hour away from it. I think hour, I believe. Oh no, I have to look it up. Let me see, because he's on the western side of Atlanta, and they consider like the town he's in. I think they consider that part of um the suburbs of Atlanta. I think something like that. Unless it's further away than I think it is, which it could be. Hang on, I'm about to look it up or not. Why are you giving me a hard time? Oh, because something's turned off that shouldn't be turned off. That explains it. Laura says, I won't make it to QuiltCon this year. It's the same weekend that my husband and I host a charity. I remember you mentioning that. Luane, are you going to go to the Atlanta one too? Have you been thinking about it? How many miles is between Atlanta, Georgia, and Carrollton? Fif 49 miles, 52 minutes. So that's not too terribly bad. Okay, I need to turn this pen a different direction. Laura, on the charity car show, do they show antique cars and stuff? She said she'd love to skip the car show, but it brings in so many funds for the school. We want to keep it going. That's awesome. And he said, "Oh yeah, I missed that last one, March 1st, 2026. I will be planning the trip." Well, okay. Because I know that if I don't make it this year, I definitely will try to go next the following year because I have no choice. We've got to deal with. I need to look at the date of when my passport. Let me see when that's supposed. I think it expires in December of 27. So yeah, that's plenty of time. If I waited till go in the spring of 2027, I would have enough time to sit and wait 6 weeks to get the new one. Yeah, so that would work. It's just that I didn't want to pay a late charge to the Florida Division of Driver's License for because basically when I get to the United States in 2027, I can't legally drive because my license will be expired. Laura, everything winds up happening at the same time. Yes, it does. I wish they would do the QuiltCon. I think it would be cool if they did QuiltCon in the fall. But it's okay. We all can't have it the way we want it. Hey, yeah, I agree with you about QuiltCon. Um, if you happen to see any 1967 Pontiac GTOs, when you go, maybe you can take some pictures of it because that was my first car. And mine, we painted mine cherry red because we had renovated it or whatever you want to call it when you redo a car. We stripped it down to bare metal and repainted it and did all that. And I had it painted in a cherry red. And my dad did the painting of it and everything, and he overhauled the engine, and we maintained all the extra things that was part of what made that car that car. And I got into so much trouble with that car. But that was because I was naughty when it came to that car. Luane says, I need to get a passport so I can fly or go on a cruise as I did not get the real ID as too much paperwork. See, Florida passed a law and that's why I can't do my driver's license online because the law says you must switch to the real ID, whether you need it or not. And I'm thinking, I have a passport. Why do I need you? And so I called them and talked to them on the phone, and she informed me. She says, it doesn't matter if you have a passport, you still must have it. And I'm like, okay, then. I'm glad they don't make things so hard over here when it comes to that kind of thing. I can't, I can't use my Florida driver's license over here, but I can't use my Greenlandic driver's license over there. That's why I have a Florida driver's license. Joe, you're absolutely right. We've been doing a car show for years and have raised a ton of money for the school. Yet, I think it's time we graduate. Our kids graduated in 2013. We should be done.
No.
How many of you were not in the live last night? In my live last night, because I know some of you have been keeping up with Thomas's, information about Thomas, and I didn't know if any of you weren't here last night when I talked about Thomas last night. I had news that I shared with everybody last night. Okay, now we got to do this number 9. We've got 10 and 11. Luane says, nope, how's he doing? He's doing good. But someone donated him a washer and dryer to him and Blaze, and he picked it up this weekend. The dryer is I can't remember. One of them's a Whirlpool and the other one is a GE. I think the wash machine's the GE and the dryer is a Whirlpool, or it's the other way around. I'm not sure. But yeah, he got someone donated both to him, and he had to go over to Powder Springs to pick it up. It's okay, Laura. I knew some of you were would like to know the information, the news about the washer and dryer, since we had this discussion of having a hard time finding one we could afford to buy, because I can't believe how much they cost. And then when I talked to Christine, my quilting buddy, which you met, Luane, at the quilt show. You remember the small woman with the blonde hair that I was with? I had talked to her on the phone, and someone over that she knew donated it. Yeah, he'll be on his job at the 3rd week in November a year. They've been in their apartment now for a year, since August, so they're doing really good. He's paying all his bills on his own now, and yeah, he's doing good. I would love it if he would try to save some of his here comes the mom thing. I wish he would save some of his money, for emergencies. And maybe he will when he feels like he's, I don't know. But Blaze is so grown up. Oh my God. When you talk to him on the FaceTime or on the phone, he sounds so confident and happy, and you don't hear any anger in his voice at all. He's a different little boy than when they Atlanta, or I mean at Carrollton. And school's going well for him, and he's in the 4th grade now. He's just doing really super good. And I finally can relax about both of them. No, you spelled his name right. You just see, you probably see me spell it like this sometimes. And it's just me calling him by his short name. But Thomas is actually his name. And then Blaze has a really long name. Blaze's name is Blaze Thomas Alvin Douglas. It's like crazy. All those names. He has many names like my husband does. But yep, they're doing good. Now we go. Now the newest thing is trying to find him and Blaze a dining table that they can actually sit at and eat dinner and breakfast. So that's the next thing we'll be looking for. But things are coming along. He's settled into the apartment. Um, he, I asked him if he's happy. He says he is, but I wish he would get out and start meeting people. You know, making friends. But I guess when he's ready, he will. And if he never does, then I guess it's just going to be the way it is. Laura says, I'm so happy and grateful they are doing well. I've been keeping them in my prayers. Thank you, Laura. I really appreciate that. All of y'all have been the best with keeping them in their prayers and, giving me solutions on where to look for certain things. And it's been a big help because, when you move away from the United States, you don't always know where to start looking for help. And a lot of you have given me a lot of great ideas and it's because of that we've been able to accomplish a lot of things relating to him. And I am so pleased that he's productive and he's functioning, and that is a good thing. Luane says, I feel sorry for Southern mamas when they get mad at the kids and have to say their full name. Yeah, you know what? My mother was like, Catherine Diane. You knew she was mad when she'd call me that. Girl, you got your pillow up underneath my foot again. And this block, I almost got this block done too now. We're making progress. I need to iron it though. Okay. Where'd the rest of the green go? There it is. Let's see. Luane says, just imagine Queen Elizabeth having to say all of her kids' names. I know, right? I wonder if they did that over or do that over here, use all of their names. This iron is very hot. Okay. I guess I'm getting close to needing to change this blade. Okay, one more side and then I can show this one to you. Here's number 3. Laura says we always worry about our kids. Yes, we do. I could tell you I've had many sleepless nights when I was worrying about him. And I still, of course, I still worry about him, but not like I was doing before. Laura says, Katie, it's very difficult. My daughter was divorced in 2019 and she escaped a terribly abusive marriage. She's finally beginning to trust people. She's seeing someone now that I hope works out for her. Yeah, I tried talking to tried talking to Thomas about, it's time to maybe you should think about going out and, meeting girls or finding somewhere that not bars. I'm not, I told him, I was like, you need to go join a bowling league. That's a good place to meet people. Then someone suggested that if he just went, you know, where other people are in public places like a park or, that kind of thing. And when I bring it up, he's like, Mom, and he doesn't say it in a mean way. He just says, I'm not interested in a girl. I'm like, well, one day I said, you might. He says, well, not right now. I'm not. I'm just taking care of me and my son. And I told him, I said, just want you to be happy. He says, I'm happy right now. Don't worry, I'll be all right. It's just what he keeps telling me. Okay, let's do this next. We got one more to do. All right. And I need to sharpen my pencil. I try not to, when I'm talking to him about it, I try to be like not pushing or nothing like that because I think that that'll just make him balk more about it. And I tell him all the time, I'm like, I just want you to be happy. So I don't talk about it all the time, but when we do talk about it, I tell him, I've said, I just want you to be happy. That's all. And maybe because Blaze could use that mother figure too. I asked, we talked about if Blaze is, because he was being hassled by someone's kid at school last year. The kid was giving him a hard time because Blaze never talks about his mother. And Blaze told him, he says, I don't have a mother. And when I asked Blaze about it, he says, yeah, he was giving me a hard time. I said, so after we got done talking about it, I told him, he said, you just have to ignore people like that. After I talked to him, I talked to Thomas. I said, he hasn't brought her up at all or asked about her or anything. He says, no, Mom, he doesn't even, it's like he doesn't, he either doesn't remember her or he chooses not to even talk about her. It's one of the two. I think he doesn't remember her because when she gave him up, he was 3. So he probably just doesn't remember. Hi, Shadow Cat. Welcome, welcome. Laura says, Katie, it's taken my daughter 6 years to begin to trust people. She was hurt beyond words. My prayer is that she will open herself to someone who will make her happy. Then we both need to pray for both our kids on that part when it comes to hoping someone precious will come into their life. I mean, I didn't think I would ever remarry myself, and then Nikolai comes into my world and changes everything. Because I definitely was done with living in an abusive situation. Totally done with it. And this man has made me a happy camper and he treats me good. And it made me realize today, you know, when your channel has this big, huge milestone that we've talked about a little bit on and off today, I realized, you know, he's been a real trooper about me spending hours on lives and not complained about it. And even when he's been part of the live, he's been okay with it. He's not complained or he's been totally supportive of that. And that right there means a whole lot too about this whole thing. I am just so thankful about everything. Lainey says, if you're saying prayers, pray for me as well. I need a decent man as well, someone who believes in God. You know something, Lainey, me and Nikolai never talked about that kind of thing when we were dating. In fact, we never even approached the subject. I didn't even know he believed in God until long after we got married. Because that didn't rank at the top. I didn't want to be married to another zealot. And I'm not talking. My first husband wasn't a zealot. It was my parents. But Nikolai was a good man. And then the first time he took me to study a Bible with one of his friends, I'm like, "You study the Bible?" He's like, "Sure." And this was when I just came from the visit. It was right before we got married. Um, and so I met his friends and we sat down and studied the Bible. It was a good Bible study and I enjoyed them. And they were really nice people. So I really liked them a lot. And but now they've moved to Denmark and so we don't see them anymore. So we're back to not studying with anyone. Well, Wayne, let's see here. I'll keep you in our prayers though, Lainey. Luane says, that is like me. My birth father was out of my life by 5, so I have little memories of him as he was a trucker and on the road most of the time. My sisters remember him and hated me because I could not. Aww. Who are you asking that, Lainey? Me or someone else? 8 and 12. I live in South Greenland in a town called Kukordak. Okay, now I need to cut some more green, I think, because I don't have enough. So it's time to break out the green. Oh, Luane does. I just have a daughter that lives in California. Maybe you were directing that at someone else. No, it's okay. You know, people see that it's Greenland Quilter, but because I speak American English, it sometimes it causes people to ask that same question, and it's okay. No offense taken here. I was raised in Florida, and I moved from Florida to Greenland in 2011. And it's because you don't know my story. Um, but my kids are now spread out across the United States. I have an older daughter with a granddaughter and her husband that lives in the place I moved from in Florida. And then my son and grandson lives in Georgia. And my youngest daughter with her two daughters and husband lives in California. So it's okay. Not everybody knows my story. I've been living here in Greenland now for 14 years. I have tourists that ask me that question. They come here and I'm tour guiding them, and they ask me, "Do you just come here to tour guide and then go back to the States?" So it's a very legitimate question. No offense taken. We actually have a guide that works with us, with the rest of us guides. She lives in Germany actually, and she comes here every summer just to tour guide. And she speaks really good English. You can't hardly hear the German accent. She's doing it as part of some type of education that she's majoring in. Denise says, Katie, do you know if Florida was notified that you were issued a Greenland driver's license? Do they do that in some US states, and then the driver's license from the previous state is voided. No, not that I'm aware of. I've not had to report that. I just knew that I couldn't use my Greenland driver's license in the United States. And the only reason I know that is because while my boss's husband, because he was an ambassador that was with the traded places with the previous administration ambassador. And so they were living in Washington during the off season. Well, she was living with, she would go to the United States during the off season because, you know, there's no tourism down here in South Greenland. And they required her to get a driver's license in Maryland, a Maryland driver's license, because she couldn't use her Greenland driver's license. And I have to have a permanent resident or a permanent, which I have a permanent address in Florida because I use it for voting. That's the only way I can have a, that's how you have a voting thing. That's how you get a driver's license. They have to have a permanent address for Social Security, all of it. And my sister, who's lived in Spain for 39 years, she still uses an address in Florida too for some of her stuff. But she didn't, she's still an American citizen too, even though she's been living in Spain that long. It's a little different for us when we're an American and we live in another country. And countries vary from country to country. They have different kinds of rules and stuff. How do I like Greenland? I love it. There's a saying here in Greenland that if you make it out, if you stay past 2 years, most likely you'll stay here for a long time. And those that leave before the second year, you can already tell that it's going to happen by the way they talk or something they'll say. And now I'm being called a Greenlander because I've been here long enough to earn that title. An American Greenlander. Living here in Greenland, you have the same, just, we can talk about this a little bit if you like. We have all the same freedoms that I had when I was in the States. There's a couple of things that we can't do or can't have, but outside of that, it's the same freedoms. We can come and go. You have to use your passport. An interesting thing is when we fly domestically within Greenland itself, they may not even ask you for your passport or a driver's license or an ID when you're flying in the country. You only need it when you're flying outside of the country. With Nuuk being the international airport, I don't know if that's changed now or not. I haven't flown through there yet, so I guess I'll find out. But when I fly like from here to Narsarsuaq, they don't even ask for anything. So yeah, we have a lot of the same freedoms most Americans have. We have a democracy and all that kind of stuff. So it's really cool. How you doing, Zaza? How's the weather over in Scotland? Is it feeling like fall there now? Luane says maybe a dumb question, but does Florida tax you on your income in Greenland? No. Florida doesn't have a state income tax. Bet you didn't know that. And I don't make enough to even pay taxes on to begin with because I only work in the summertime. No, there may come a day where I have to if my YouTube channel does good, but right now I don't make money off it either. So, I'm not worried about any of that these days. I can't afford the health care what it costs to have health insurance through Florida. Do you know how much it costs when you don't have a job in Florida to get the health care on a health care program? It costs $1,200 a month out of your pocket. And I can't afford that. Not at all. And I would like to have health insurance whenever I come to the United States because I always end up sick when I'm there. All right, we got this part done. This is looking kind of wonky for some weird reason. Let's see. Zaza says, yes, it's getting cold at night. It feels cold during the day, even though the normal temperatures for this time of year, but that's because it was such a warm summer. You know what? I agree with you on that because we had such a warm summer here. I told Nikolai, it sure seems awfully cold. It's like your body's like, ew, no. What happened to that warm, yummy stuff we were having? So I'm definitely having to wear a jacket. And pretty soon I think I'm gonna have to start wearing um warmer clothes. Not necessarily snow clothes, just warmer clothes. Zaza, if someone wanted to travel to Scotland, what time of the year would you suggest? Zaza, no, but I think this next time I make a trip, I'm going to, just for the sake of having some health protection, since I get sick so easy these days. I just need to figure out who you buy it from. Because when I was in, remember, I'm sure y'all maybe you remember. I'm not sure. No, because it was before I got my YouTube channel. In 2018, when I was in the United States, I was in California, and I caught influenza. And I was actually supposed to make a trip to Florida, and when I was just getting better off the first go around of influenza, and I turned around and caught it again. So I ended up and didn't go to Florida because I was sick. And then Nikolai said, you know what, since you get over it, you need to just come home because this is ridiculous. And he was right, it was. And I no sooner got to feeling better, I picked it up a third time. So I spent a total of 7 months in California because I couldn't travel because I had influenza. And so on the third bout, I knew I had pneumonia. All the signs were there, and I told Kristen, I said, "You're gonna have to take me to the hospital. We should not wait." because I don't want to end up being put in the hospital because I chose to wait a couple of days. She says, is it really that bad now, Mom? I'm like, I told her, I said, I have pneumonia. You may not think I do, but I do. I can hear it because it sounds like paper crackling in your chest. And I didn't feel good, and my asthma was not under control at all. And so she took me, and sure enough, she says, Mom, how did you know that? I said, because after having pneumonia 4 times, there's certain symptoms that I didn't associate with it to begin with. Because the first 2 times I had pneumonia, I thought it was my asthma being crazy because I was sick during the fall. And that's usually when my asthma becomes very volatile. And so I just thought it was that. I didn't associate catching influenza to be the trigger. And so when I figured it out, the third time I got it, I knew I had pneumonia, and I went to the doctor right away. And he says, you got the message. This time you came to the office instead of waiting until it's so bad I have to put you in the hospital. I'm like, I'm finally figuring out the symptoms, dude. So, he was able to treat me out of office for it, and which was a good thing. And then when I was in California and we went to the hospital, you know how much that hospital billed to see the doctor, for them to do chest x-rays, give me a breathing treatment, pull blood work, write prescriptions. It cost me $1,200 US. That's just expensive. Zaza says probably June or September weather is still usually nice, but it's not too busy with tourists. Lots of tourist attractions are only open weekends between October to April. And the Lord says, Zaza, I've been sick this year that I can't plan for that, but my husband wants to know when we should plan a trip. I want to travel there because my ancestors originated from there. I have ancestors from there too. And then Zaza says, Wayne, I have one, an electric blanket and a hot water bottle. All right, now we're switching back to the white. I'm on a roll here, y'all. We're going to have another block done soon. Wait, 1, 2, yep. And we will have all of these blocks done for this part. My travel insurance for the U.S. is expensive because I have health issues, but I wouldn't travel without them being covered. Is it an international health insurance, Zaza? I mean, do they have a website where anyone on this side of the pond can sign up for it? Because I definitely would like to look into it so that when I do travel, I'll have a backup plan. See, after QuiltCon from last year, I caught influenza and ended up with pneumonia. You're like, dang, you just can't escape it. But Sean gave me a good tip. He said, call or not call. He said, go on the internet and use a internet doctor. And he gave me the website. And when I told the doctor the symptoms, and I told him, I said, I already know what's wrong with me. He says, what? I said, I have pneumonia. And when I gave him the symptoms, he said, yep, you sure do. And I said, I need antibiotics and I need prednisone. And he's like, yes, you do. So that only cost me $75 instead of $1,000. I couldn't go around anyone for an entire week and a half. It was a good thing because I had rented a Airbnb. So there was no way I was going to come in contact with anyone during that time frame. Zaza, we probably won't be traveling this year. I'm hoping that we can next year. Then Wayne says, I'm sure there are millions of us, but I was happy to find out I am descendant of Robert the Bruce, so would like to go to Scotland and see where he lived and it existed. Oh, cool. Zaza says, Katie, I don't know about that, but I'm sure there must be companies in Greenland and Denmark would do. It is usually the same companies that do house and car insurance that do it. Okay, I'll look into it. And then Laura says, Katie, I'm glad you were able to get help. Yeah. Um, as soon as the first symptoms showed up, when I could hear that noise, I knew I was in trouble. And so when I was talking to Sean about it, I said, oh God, I'm going to have to go to the emergency room. And he says, here, try this. And so I tried it. He didn't tell me to go to the emergency room or anything. He just went ahead and wrote the prescriptions and told me where to go pick them up. It worked itself out and I didn't have to pay all that extra money again. Hi, Tasha. Welcome, welcome. I guess we should talk about that poll soon. If you haven't voted on the poll, don't go look up the word. Take a guess at what you think it means. And then we'll talk about it. Here. Number 7, number 8, which is going to be this color. Zaza says, oh, wow, Katie, I missed that. Huge congratulations to you on reaching 5,000. Thank you. I knew about it yesterday. I didn't say anything last night because, yeah, I was at a loss for words yesterday. It happened yesterday morning. And so I didn't even bring it up. And then today I decided to bring it up today because I figured if I didn't, someone was going to eventually see it. And I really appreciate all of y'all because y'all helped this, all of you helped make this happen. Let me see. Uh-oh. Why didn't that cut that thread? Laura says, I can't take prednisone or anything like that. I have tail reactions to it. I used to take it, but I guess my system has changed. Prednisone is, as much as I dislike prednisone, it has saved my life many times because it was one of the few things that they could, along with another medication that if I mention it, you won't even know what I'm talking about. And I really hate the side effects of prednisone. But us asthmatics have to have it sometimes. Some people I know can't take it because of some of the problems with it. People used to tell me when I spent 9 months on prednisone that when I was pregnant with my first one, and during my 7th month we almost died, both of us, and they put me on prednisone, and I spent about 9 months on prednisone, and people would say that I would be bouncing off the walls, but I don't remember being like that. I remember that one of the other medicines made me feel like I was always wired. Reminded me of the medicine my mom would give me that she would buy over the counter, um, Primatine pills, and it has epinephrine in it. And Jesus, you want to see what that does to a child? Oh my God, it's like taking speed. Uh-oh. Huh? Are you cold?
Not much.
I can tell that the temperature in the house has changed. Yeah, it's probably a good idea because I'm probably going to be complaining about being cold soon. Because I know yesterday or last night I got cold because we waited too long. Luane said, wait, I missed something. Zaza says, Luane, they don't exist. It's an ongoing joke here, the amount of people that get told they are related to him. And then Luane, now we know it's the Mormon church to blame. Yeah, because you have that net I forget what it's called that the Mormon church has. My DNA told me I'm from Scotland. Well, my DNA has Scotland in it, Germany, Denmark of all things, which I didn't even know that, the Netherlands, the UK. I think Norway's on that list. And then there's this 1% from the people of Bantu and the Congo. Which I'd like to know which ancestor was there for that. That would be cool. I bet it's cool history about that. My dad used to tell us kids that the Oglesby family had come from royalty, and I'm like, right. Let's see. Lloyd says, Zaza, that makes me wonder about my Macmillan line as someone traced them back to the 900s in Scotland. And then Laura says, Katie, I agree that prednisone has many side effects. My doctors won't prescribe it for me anymore because I have severe reactions to it. I will say that prednisone has helped me over the years. Yeah, same here. It has. As much as I dislike it, it is a lifesaver when you need it. And then Zaza says, yeah, most records were lost. There is nothing concrete between 1600 to 1700s apart from royalty. Oh, we're coming along with this block. We might just have this one finished. And I'm not even going to bother to trim this one down, this piece, because it's not going to matter. Wayne says, dang ads, sorry. The ads have been very active lately. Let me see here. Zaza says, wait, Laura says, Zaza, my husband has been working on our genealogy and has been able to trace our ancestors back to the 1200s. Wow. The closest I get anywhere with either side, well, on my dad's side, with my mother's side, is so much harder for some weird reason. Um, I think it's 17 something for my dad's side, and then I can't find anything relate, and most of that stuff is for the United States. So anything European, I haven't been able to locate at all. But if I spent money, I guess it would, but I'm not gonna spend money. Births, deaths, and marriages just weren't recorded that far back. Even among nobility, it is nearly impossible to trace back. He may have earlier records, but I'm not sure. Laura, not with any credibility in Scotland. All right. Now we got to do up here. Zaza, some of what has been uncovered is because of DNA testing. Yeah, that's how I found out that's the only reason I know that I have the background I have is because of DNA testing. Someone approached me because she wanted to figure out which Oglesby was her grandfather. And she kept getting turned away by the other Oglesbys, and I'm like, well, that's just silly. I'll do it. So I did. but I don't have any famous people tagged onto my DNA. So what I would like to do though is get a DNA done of my son, so we can do the Japanese side of his DNA, and then do another DNA. Maybe talk my oldest daughter and my youngest daughter into doing DNAs on their daughters, so that they can add all of that to the family tree, because um, it would add uh, the paternal side of both their daughters onto the DNA path. I know the girls are going to plan a trip to Japan at some point. See if they can't find some of their grandmother's family. It turns out that Jean, it turns out that she is my half cousin. So she and I share the same paternal grandfather. So that means that my grandfather had an affair between the birth of my father and his younger brother. And so when I go back to the States the next go around, we're going to meet each other. And she's just out. The interesting thing about this whole thing is she lives in Noonan and Thomas lives in Carrollton. So it'll be really easy for us to get together and meet each other. Because the Oglesbys, most of the Oglesbys that are related to us are from Georgia. My dad's family, Jesus, they the family tree, um, the great grandfather and then the great great grandfather. Oh my God, you would not believe how many kids they father. It was a bunch of them. But we stayed in touch. We've talked to each other on Facebook since then, and sometimes she'll post something that I see that she's found out about our DNA or relative. But at least she got her answers. Apparently, right before her mother died, her mother had told her about her dad. And but she didn't give her enough information. So when she passed away, um, my cousin was left with all these questions. She did a DNA, and she could see she was an Oglesby. She just didn't know which one. She needed another person's DNA to determine which side of the or what part of that Oglesby family it came from. And when I came into play, they paid for the DNA and everything and gave me all the results and all of it. I got, I all I had to do was donate blood or saliva, and that was it. Oh, that's the other place. On my mom's side, there's Ireland in the Netherlands and a couple other things on my mom's side. Zaza, I still like to think of you as a friend from afar, says Laura. We are all friends from afar. Okay, let's trim this one and we will have all 20 of this section done. And then I'll show you the next fabric part along with what we're going to be doing in the book. Ta-da! Okay, so I'm going to remind you what all the blocks look like. Let me get them all out and then I'll show them to you. And so basically we have to make 4 of each one. Okay, so let's go through the refresher of this. Okay. So this one's called the apple block. And then this one is called mulberry. Um, this one, this one's called the guava block. This one is called the lime block. And the one I made tonight is called papaya block. So now I have all 20 of these done. Now I'll show you what we'll be working on next and along with the fabric. Let me get some of this stuff out of the way. Ow. I'm going to clean up this because I don't want to mix this with what we're going to do next. Zaza says, beautiful block, Katie. Luane says, I need a time machine so that I can go back to the late 1500s and DNA Henry the Eighth, as he may be a twice grandfather by affairs to Mary Borland and another young lady when she was 22. Since the Bible says the man that there was a man and a woman that started it all, and there are billions of us now, the begetting was widespread, and we are all related to each other. Pretty much. Days of the week are not pluralized with apostrophes. Saturday, who is that directed at? Must be talking about my title. Denise said, Zaza says, Denise, in smaller towns when people didn't travel anywhere, that certainly was the case. And then Felicia says, the blocks are beautiful, Katie. Thank you. I'm super happy with them that I didn't mess up anymore. I sure did my fair share of it, let me tell you. Laura says the blocks are beautiful too. Thank you. Okay, so these are all in one spot. I'll keep those together like that. I love these little cotton cut trays because they fit these little small blocks. Okay, now let's talk about the next set of blocks we're going to be making. And yeah, okay. And before I start the next one, I need to take a, sorry, excuse me, but I have to take a bio break. So the next set is going to be squares and squares, and also economy block. And you have a mango block, a kiwi block, a lemon block, and a pear block, and have to make 4 of each one of those. So there'll be 16 of these. And then I'll show you the fabric. And most of it's going to be similar to what you've already seen. There's a couple different ones in here, but most of it will be similar. And then I'll show you, let's see, where are the, I need to get the pads out so you can see the square and the square and the, what did I do with them? They're over here somewhere. Can't do without them because that's how I'm starting this next part. I hate when I lay something down. I have a lot of moving parts going on over here. Hang on a minute, I gotta find them. I found them. As long as I don't panic, I can find them. Let's see. Denise says Adam and Eve were the first peoples. And then Laura says, I'm trying to get my sojo back, but it's difficult after being unable to for Laura, may I make a suggestion? Do you have anything that is small in size to work on? Like maybe a small block, a little 5-inch block or something? And even if it's just, or if you have scraps, just to get your mojo back, don't do any thinking or anything. Just sew scraps pieces together. Just the motion of sewing on your machine with scraps will help trigger the need to want to sew. Because sometimes when I don't want to sew, sometimes just taking scrap pieces and mindlessly sewing them suddenly awakens what was asleep. So the caveman would be the offspring of Adam and Eve who probably chose not to associate with other groups of folks. Okay, so this one, we have this fabric. And more of this one because you've seen this one before already. And you've also seen this one. And more of the same white. And I discovered I have more yardage of this on a bolt that I didn't even realize I had it. And then there's this right here. Okay, I will be right back.
I think you'll get that, Laura. Just believe in yourself with doing that. I mean, just pick up some scraps and just try it. Right now, I'm in the middle of what you call it. Stop making a lake. I mean, not stopping, but it's more like having a little break from building Legos. But got into that studio. By the way, I've been making a lot of Lego, virtual Legos. I've been running on that a lot now. I've accomplished some. Tried to post them on that as a Lego idea, but there's a little bit difficulty with it. Sooner or later, I will get through it. But just trotting along. Hi, Felicia.
Oh my God, it's kind of being weird. Did you already take her out?
No, not yet, but I will.
Thanks, honey, for coming and talking to them.
I know.
I appreciate that, babe.
Oh,
Uh-oh, I'm on the keyboard. Oh, it's been going for a while.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, my fault. Yeah, I understand about it being difficult. I mean, there was a, when I get in my what I call a funk and I don't want to do anything, and after 2 weeks of, well, now I have YouTube channel. I don't have much choice, but before YouTube, if I got in a funk, I wouldn't touch anything for 2 or 3 weeks, and then and that's, you want to sew, but you don't feel like sewing, and there's sometimes in between the lives, because I usually do my lives on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then maybe Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't want to do anything. And I discovered that sometimes when I get into that mood, and if I allow myself to stay in it, then it's likely that I will not do as much as I should do. And I've discovered if I just pick up some scraps, and you don't have to think about don't think about what you want it to look like. Just take a bunch of small pieces and sew them together. Or if you have, here's an idea. I don't know if you have these in a bucket or not. You know how we do stitch and flips? We have these pieces left from our stitch and flips. This is from a stitch and flip, yeah. And I'm sure everybody has these. And and you don't do anything with them. You just throw them in something. When during those times when you're not wanting to sew, you can grab a handful of these and run them through your machine, and before you know it, you're sewing. You're not thinking about it, and you're pressing these open, and then you're looking at them. Do I want to, after you've done a few chain sewing of these pieces, which I tend to do when I'm not in the mood, these get me back into the mood, and I end up trimming them to the size I want them to be. And sometimes I've done something like, let me see if I can find an example. I have too many things up here right now, but I was, oh, yeah, right here. Um, and and this might help Laura. When you have all these little stitchy flips, you sew them so they make half square triangles, but you don't have a plan for them, right? None of us do when we have these. So instead of thinking about making, some design, do something like this. Just sew them together. Same thing with this. Just sew them together. Don't think about it, just sew. And before you know it, you're like you're in the mood. You find yourself in the mood. And put some, if you like music, if you're a music person, put some music on and don't think, just do. And it might help you. And I'll tell him when he comes back inside what you said, Laura. Because sometimes I feel like sometimes that helps us. Now, do I think that it's going to fix it? It might not. You've had a rough time of it, and not being able to do what you want to do because you've been so sick and stuff. It does put stress on your mental health. And just do baby steps, baby steps. Luane says, I don't know if you know the colorblind quilter, but he made a great video on reclaiming your sewing mojo, but just doing something sewing related for just 15 to 20 a day. Yeah, just do little, you know, don't put, when you're doing it, don't put any expectations on it. All you're doing is going to sit and just do something. One thing I miss the most about, because I live over here, the thing I miss about Florida, we really not talked a lot about this. All y'all know I've talked a lot about being a master gardener and stuff. When the going got tough, I would spend an extraordinary amount of time outside digging in the dirt. There was just, and I've never been a person to wear gloves. Half the time I didn't have my shoes on. So I would have my toes stuck in the soil and my hands all dirty because I was out there pulling grass or weeds and planting new things. And it was a type of thing where when things were at their crappiest and life was just so bad, I could go out there and just do something. And a lot of, sometimes it would be for just a few minutes, and other times I would do it until it turned dark, and one of the kids would come outside and say, "Hey mom, aren't you going to make dinner?" And because I just totally sunk into the moment. And so that's what you can do for yourself sometimes, is just do something small. Don't think about it, just do it. you know and if that's not going to help it, then you mentioned you crocheted. Pick up a little bit of crochet and see if that doesn't kind of trigger your creativity part of yourself. Crochet a few little motifs and see if that doesn't help trigger that juice that you need to sit down in front of your sewing machine and do something. Anything like that. Because, see, to me, gardening is the same thing as crafting. You're just doing a different way of doing it. And I hope I don't come off the wrong way by saying, making these suggestions. Yeah, you've had a tough year, that's for sure, Laura. All right, let me show you the 2 blocks we're going to be making. Let me tear one out of here. This is one of them. We'll be making several of these, 8 actually. And we'll be making 8 of the square and a square. So really simple stuff. Yeah, there's all I don't know what all crafting things you like to do, Laura. If you do more than crochet or sew, if you paint, if you draw, you know, another thing that I love to do sometimes when I'm feeling really stressed out and don't want to do anything else, I have coloring crayons in the craft room in a drawer. I have a drawer full of coloring crayons and color pencils. And I also have some coloring books. And a lot of times I'll drag one of them out along with the crayons and the coloring pencils, and I'll just sit and doodle until, you know, and sometimes just doing something like that even triggers that creative thing that keeps all of us making things. Okay, so let's see which one we're supposed to start with first. I know I'm going to have to cut some fabric. Oh, it looks like we're going to do the mango block, which is this one right here. Okay. So we're going to use this fabric right here and this one. So I'm just going to put the other ones back in the bag for right now because I don't want to have them laying out. I tend to keep everything together so I don't get mixed up. Yeah. Do you like English paper piecing or embroidery or cross stitch? I mean, I'm sure there's just something. All right. I need to press these open. Did she do her thing, honey?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, damn.
Did you find Northern Lights?
No, I saw something that I cannot explain.
What are you talking about?
I saw some, I don't know what to say. It's like a long, small light and then like,
Are they still out there?
now they're gone.
Or did you take a picture?
I managed to take a picture of it, but it's like this. You see it?
Yeah, I do.
They're flying. It's like they're just like buzzing like slow.
You don't think that was a military plane or something?
I don't know. It's weird. There are no sound at all.
No sound?
No sound.
What about a shooting star or something?
None. If it is a shooting star, it would I've already seen it like that. But that's different.
Yeah, I ain't seen something like that before either.
That's like a long, just long. That big,
Maybe it was a weather balloon type of thing.
I don't think so. That's different.
I really don't want to go down this path of thinking it's an alien thing, but
I'm not assuming. I'm just.
I know you're not assuming. None of us are. I mean, people are always post seeing things, but
As you can see,
after today's explosion, you know.
as you can see, it's like this, like one big
Yeah, I can see it. Looks like it's attached, whatever it is.
yeah, all of us. There's like a little kind of like there's a little space between them.
Yeah. It looks almost like someone is pulling a lighted, like it's a word or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, sweetie. Maybe we'll see it again.
Yeah, maybe.
So today we've had a little bit of a freaky day. We're sitting in here. I'm sewing or getting my live ready, you know, setting up my live and stuff, and we hear a kaboom that shook the house. And we go walking out the door to see what the heck is going on. And it didn't look like it was anything like right in front of the house or anything, because it sounded like it came from like off to the west. And then Nikolai went up to the road to look toward the back of the lake, and there was a fire, some kind of smoke from the back of the lake, which would have been behind the mountain. So there's that.
Well, anything we can do to help, Laura?
And by the way, she said to you, babe, she thanks you for the encouraging words.
I'm right back. I need to do something. Bad things.
I know what you meant. Gotcha. Be careful. Luane, the colorblind quilter, lives not far from me. I like his stuff, says Zaza. And then Luane says, well, go tell him to make some videos as we miss him. And Zaza says, Laura, you can also plan when you want to do once you're able. Even cross stitch and embroidery EPP might give you a creative outlet. Yeah. And then Zaza says, I miss his stuff too. He does a couple of things with Kristen from Scrap Fabric Love, but next to no content from him. Zaza, he'll be right back. He went outside to take care of something. Because we have in between my things I have to do tomorrow, we have a to-do list, because we're going to get this house prepped so that we can tear that craft room apart. And we have a couple things we have to take care of outside too. See, this looks like a fat quarter, doesn't it? I'm just pressing this so I can cut it. Sorry, it's kind of taken me a few minutes to do it. Have you guys ever had a wildfire? Yes. There's been a couple of them in Greenland. One was up near Kangerlussuaq Walk a couple years ago, and we actually had one back behind the lake. I think that was 2 summers ago or 3 summers ago, and they had helicopters going back there and putting it out. Felicia says, I have to go now, Katie. Everyone have a great night. You too. All right. I've got these both pressed. Now let me see if I can move things around where I can cut this fabric. Got to move a few things out of the way, because things are in the way. It is going to be good to get back into the craft room at some point where I have more space and not everything's all crammed up on top of me. It's going to be weird when we take everything out of here and put it back in the craft room to sewing stuff and everything, and this room becomes available again. I mean, we haven't even sat on. We have this sofa behind me that has all my stuff sitting on it. We've never sat on the darn thing. It's been here all this time and we've not used it at all. So it'll be strange. All right, we'll get that there. Put this here. All right, now I need a different ruler. All right. All right, what is going on with the bot? Denise, did you try to post a link? If you did, let me know so because I can give you moderator status and let you post a link. I really need to turn that thing off. I thought that I had everything turned off. That's something new. Let me know, Denise, because I can make you moderator and then you can post a link. I turn my back and something happens with the bot. I want to know what it, hang on, let me view what was being, oh, I can actually look and see. All right. Says you gave, there's no link here. What the heck is the bot doing? Hmm. Denise, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Can you let me know if you're still, Katie, I understand that we were in the middle of moving my sewing room when I got sick. I feel like everything is still up in the air. I'm hoping we can finish. That's right, you were because you were going to set up your long arm. I forgot all about that part. I need to see what the heck the bot did. Where is my bot? The bot just did something weird. Okay, let me see if I can figure out how to turn that off. I don't even know because it did it twice. I was thinking the same thing as I rephrased my comment. Didn't want to be a misunderstanding. At sewing with it not letting you use the at sign. Is that what the deal is? I don't know. Let me see what happens when I use that at sign. I don't know. Let me. I'm going to go back to where she, yeah. Because Denise asked me, have you ever had a wildfire at Greenland Quilter, Katie? That is weird that it's telling you you can't do that. It must be the @ sign. So let me go see if there's a setting to turn that off too. Let me see here. Oh, look at how. Support, Discord, integrations, time and chat moderation. Block. That says this filter allows you to time out white. We're going to disable that too. All right, I just disabled the only thing that wasn't disabled on this list of chat moderation, and we'll see if it. Denise, can you type hello at my name, and let's see if it does it again. I use the @ sign all the time. I never get warnings. Retype the sentence where you were talking to Luane. Here, I'll copy and paste it so you can see what it was you said. And retype it for me and see if it does it again. Because that's the first time I've seen that. I don't see a darn thing wrong with this. Okay, now try retyping the sentence I just shared that you wrote and see what happens. Because it didn't mess with you when you typed at Greenland Quilter. There's a hashtag in there. I wonder if that has that hashtag and that exclamation mark has the. That's not exclamation mark, is it? Oh, that's a 21. There is. Hey, John, you need to check your email, John. There isn't a space between the word misunderstanding and the @ sign. Yeah, just because I can undo it if it kicks you out. Yeah, that might be what triggered it because there was no space between there. Testing at Denise S. Because I just turned the only setting that was still on off. John needs to check his email too. Look for an Amazon email. It didn't nail you either, Luane, so maybe I fixed it. I just need. Denise, you're still there, yes? Says she's still here. The only way I can fix things is when it. See, it didn't do it that time. So maybe what that one setting that was still on is what got you. Okay, I hope that's fixed now and it won't happen again. I hope. Because I don't want anyone getting kicked out of my channel for silly stuff. especially when the bot won't nail the people that come in and do bad things. You know what I mean? All right. Um, let's talk about this poll. All right. We have 44 votes. What does incunable mean? And I butchered it bad. Does it mean large animal? Does it mean type of rock? Does it mean early printed book? Does it mean type of tree? I know that's not fair to get smacked down for something. Golly, that bot is for. See, I had to turn a lot of settings off because people use exclamation. Even I do. I might use more than one exclamation mark. I might use a bunch of them, and it's dumb to ban for a bot to ban someone because they use exclamation marks or they use too many capital letters. Okay, so 9% said large animal, 14% said type of rock, 59% said early printed book, and 18% said type of tree. And the answer is early printed book. So 59% of you got that one right. Cool word, huh? I never heard of the word. Well, yeah, I don't remember ever seeing the word actually. So there you go. Okay. It is 11 o'clock my time now. So that means I've been live since 7:30. So it's 8:30, 9:30, 10. I've been live 3.5 hours. And I have to get up early tomorrow to do a live with Sean. And I still haven't even set up the live yet. So I still need to do that. So if it's okay with you guys, I think I'm gonna call it a night. I know I would have liked to have gotten more accomplished, but this is not going anywhere. I'm gonna keep on working on it. Tomorrow morning we are working on Star Climber, which is this, which is more paper piecing. Yeah, I need I need a better board for these because I have a lot of these done already. And I think you should come. It'll be 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the reason I mention it is because Sean's going to show you what he's doing with his, and you will be very surprised. Nothing from Amazon. Look in your spam folder. I hope I used it right because I took your email from the email from where you answered me the other day. Yeah, I need to go watch the replay of Sean and the Stitching Boy. Laura says, Katie and everyone have a great evening or wonderful evening. Thank you, Laura. And again, thank you everyone for your comments about my milestone. I appreciate it. I'm still in shock over that too. It wasn't there either. Okay. Let me go. I'll go over to Amazon and have a look and see what the heck. Because it shows it sent it. Ruby, are you rock? I don't know how to say that middle part. Hey, Rudy. Anyway, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, live with Sean. And then I'm not sure what time it is that I'm doing the interview with Andy from True Blue Quilts. And John, check your email sometime tomorrow. I'll see if I can get to the bottom of why you haven't got an email yet. You should have gotten one unless I used the wrong email. I hope not. Because I used the email that you wrote to me with. Lori said, Zaza says, Katie, it's well deserved. Laura says, Katie, we're all rooting for you. Thank you so much. And y'all have a great night. And remember to live, laugh, love, and dream. And what do you do with all of that? You make something beautiful. And Laura, big hugs for you. And I hope you get to where you feel like sewing again, too. So I'll be thinking about you on that. Big hugs to everyone. Thank you again. Good night. Ooh, we crashed the studio. It's too funny. Okay, let's end the stream.